What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Horsepower Obsessed. If this is your first time here, my name is Justin. These are my two Corvettes, and today we get to answer the question, is it worth $6,000 to XPEL protect your car? All right, guys, so for those of you who are not familiar with the channel, this is my C7 Corvette ZR1. This is my C8 Corvette. They are both fully XPEL wrapped. So literally every surface you can see other than the glass is XPEL protected. What that means is rock chips, scratches, little swirl marks, things like that will not really affect these films. And if they do, some of the lesser scratches and things will be actually self-healed with heat or sun, which is really freaking awesome. So if you get a little scratch in one of the pieces of XPEL paint protection, you can hit it with some heat and literally watch it disappear. As a car guy, there really isn't anything better than that. So as you wash a car, especially a black car, you can literally watch as you put fine scratches into the paint. So if you're not using the cleanest of the clean or the best of the best soaps, you're going to accidentally scratch these cars when you wash them. And it's unfortunate because you want this thing always looking as clean and as awesome as possible, and things like daily washing it are going to cause problems. Now, the way you fix that is XPEL. This one is protected with XPEL Ultimate Plus. That one over there is called XPEL Stealth. The only difference, that one gives it a satin finish, while this one maintains the glossy stock paint. They are both fully XPEL wrapped. That means both of them cost about $6,000 to fully XPEL wrap, and I've had a lot of questions pop up as to whether or not I think it's worth it. The short answer is yes. The long answer is also yes. So let's talk about it. What that ultimately means is this car is completely protected. Now that's huge for any car enthusiast, because that means when life happens, XPEL is going to protect your paint. And in my opinion, you can't really put a price on that. This one is covered with XPEL Stealth, which leaves a satin finish. And as you can see here, guys, it basically just mutes the gloss effect. But ultimately, they both have the exact same protection. So that will protect against rocks just as much as this will, and scratches and all that good stuff. As a car enthusiast, like I said, you cannot put a price on this kind of stuff. If it's a car that you plan on keeping, or in this case, a car that will be worth money in the future, it's definitely not a bad idea to spend some time and get this thing protected. In my case, this is actually protected on more than one level. We have the paint protection, and then on top of it, a ceramic coating, which obviously adds even more protection. But the one doing the biggest job is actually the paint protection film. Now, I'm actually going to show you guys back here on the C7, an area where rocks and road debris really just beat up, and that's the rear quarter panels. So if you can see this, all those little white dots, those are all marks in the actual film. I'm actually going up to Blackout Tinting, which is the place that did the XPEL work for me on both cars, because one of the rocks flew up so hard that it actually tore a little chunk out of the XPEL right there. Now, why this is really awesome is because this part of the XPEL from here to the top can actually be removed and replaced, and underneath the paint will be completely untouched. So if it wasn't for the XPEL, that mark right there would have been down through the paint and probably into the fiberglass of the actual car. So that would have caused enough damage that I would have had to have some body work, and then this entire panel repainted, possibly panels around it to blend everything in as well. So when you look at it from that aspect, even though XPEL is expensive right up front, it can actually save you money in the end. On the C8, like I said, it is XPEL Stealth, but everything that needs to be gloss, like the headlights and the actual carbon flash painted pieces, these are wrapped with XPEL Ultimate Plus. So you can mix and match just to get the best effect possible, but I wanted to go with something a little different on the C8, and honestly, guys, I think it's absolutely gorgeous. But if this is not something for you, you don't have to do stealth. You can do gloss and make it look completely invisible. The best XPEL installations are literally invisible. So on my ZR1, you would have to be within 2 to 3 inches to see the lines of XPEL on this black paint, and that's awesome. Blackout Tinting in Latrobe, Pennsylvania really nails it, really hits it out of the park when it comes to XPEL installations. They did both of these cars, and I get asked all the time if this is a paint job, because you can literally get right up on it and you cannot tell that this is an actual film. It looks like paint. So obviously, as with everything in the detail world, the actual installer matters way more than the product. And when you hear a a $6,000 price, I know that comes as a little bit of a shock, but it is worth every penny if the installer is doing it correctly. Now, as far as that goes, blackout tinting did it correctly. You can tell by looking at these cars, they're done to absolute perfection. And like I said, if it's invisible, it's done right. On the C7 Corvette especially, every single piece other than the glass you can see on the car is covered with XPEL, meaning the carbon fiber, the paint, the black paint, all the way up to the front lips, even back here, the rear diffuser, everything is expelled, which means this car is totally protected against pretty much everything. When I said XPEL protects against life, this is it. So you can literally daily drive your car and maintain an appearance that looks brand new. And that's exactly what every car guy wants. Typically, the only way to keep your car looking brand new the way this one still does is not driving it. You leave it in the garage, you don't take it out, because rock chips literally destroy these things. They drop the value, they make it look worse, and it's just not as fun to drive then. When I first got this car, I was afraid to take it out of the garage because I knew this area back here gets beat up a lot with rocks. And whenever I found out about XPEL and how much it was going to offer as far as protection goes, it was a no-brainer. I wanted to be able to drive the car. I wanted to be able to enjoy it without worrying about destroying it. And it's because of that I would say absolutely yes. It is worth every penny of $6,000 to get these things protected. Now, depending on the kind of car you have, it could be more, it could be less. With the Corvettes, I know my C7 Z06 and my C7 ZR1 were both $6,000. This one would have been right around $6,000 as well. If you have a bigger SUV or a truck, it may be a little bit more, or if you have something smaller, it may be a little bit less. At the end of the day, somewhere between $5,500 and $6,000 is going to be your average for a Corvette. In my case, like I said, I have the XPEL Fusion Plus on top of this, which is their ceramic coating, which adds a little bit more protection. That's another couple $100. But like I said, guys, the installer matters a lot here. You want to get somebody who really knows what they're doing to get this done correctly. I had such a great experience with blackout tinting doing my two Corvettes here. I will put all of their contact information down in the description below. If you're interested or in the area, definitely hit them up. I'll be honest, guys, even if you're not in the area, I would send them a message because I can personally vouch for them. They do an absolutely fantastic job. And unfortunately, I've seen the opposite end of that. I've seen poor installations where you still pay almost top dollar, but you walk away very unsatisfied. So if it were up to me, I would definitely push you guys over to blackout tinting just because of the experience that I've had with them. As I was saying, everything on the car is protected. The entire hood has a layer of paint protection on it, and then the ZR1 emblems were stuck back on top of the paint protection. So everything is protected all the way down to the plexiglass covering on the Jake cold air intake here. That has a piece of XPEL on it just because plexiglass kind of scratches pretty easily, and I wanted that to stay show quality. That's how you do it, guys. You can literally keep these cars as pristine as they were the day you bought them if you get it protected. Now, I know what you guys are going to say. There's actually other ways you can protect certain parts of the C7 Corvette, and you're partially right. So as you guys may or may not know, I partner a lot with ACS Composite, and they actually send larger rock guards, which are right here, and help protect the front tires from kicking up rocks into that area I said was a highly affected area. But what I noticed is these reduce it. They do not eliminate it. So if you look at pretty much any C7 Corvette out there, especially the Z06 and up, this area back here is going to have rock chips. There's no way around it. Aside from literally never driving on any road that has gravel on it, that area will always be chipped up. And that's where XPEL comes in. Like I said, once that gets beat up enough, you pull that piece off and you replace it. Whereas without that, you would have to pull that panel off, fix it, paint it, and then match it. Now, especially with the ZR1 and the Z06, with the Z07 package, you get the Sport Cup 2 tires. They will honestly pick up anything off of the road and just sling it at the rear. So you need some sort of protection, if not the entire car. This area, the rockers, and up to the rear quarter panels, you would absolutely, in my opinion, you have to get that area done on the C7. If you own a black car, I would highly recommend doing the entire thing, because at first I only had the high impact areas. I had the front bumper, the hood, the mirrors, the rockers, and the rear quarter panels protected with the XPEL paint protection. And one day I was washing the car, I was on the back hatch, and I could literally just see like fine micro scratches being put in. And that's with a foam cannon, a brand new microfiber wash mitt, more soap than you could possibly imagine, and I was still watching it happen. Black is very hard to maintain. With XPEL paint protection and XPEL ceramic coating, it's a lot easier. And with those two things, I will probably never own another color car other than black at this point, after that one, of course. So anyway, guys, that is going to do it for today's video. I hope this kind of helped you make up your mind on whether or not XPEL is something you should do to your car, because in my opinion, it is extremely important to get something like this done if you want to keep your car looking as good as it did on day number one. If you guys have any questions about what we discussed here, go ahead and leave them in the comment section down below, and I will answer anything you may have. If you guys haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please do. I'm going to have loads of C8 and C7 content coming you are not going to want to miss. And as always, guys, I will catch you in the next upload.